Can I start now?
Just wait, I'm just making it in a separate. You're able to see it?
Yeah.
Okay, just 1 minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, please start.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. A very warm welcome and good evening to all of you. I'm Dr. Sona Dubey. Today, I'm going to give my lecture on latest technique in aquaculture. But before going to the various techniques which are nowadays very much used for increased production of fishes, I would like to give you a brief introduction. Next slide, please, ma'am. I would like to tell you what is aquaculture. Now, aquaculture can be defined as a human cultivation of organisms in water, which may be freshwater, brackish, or marine water. The three kinds of water we divide on the basis of salinity, and we can cultivate organisms starting from like algae to other animals which are of economic importance. So, fishes are the most common type of vertebrate which we cultivate in water, and they have a lot of importance uh, in terms of its nutritive value and things like that. So it is distinguished from aquatic production by the degree of human intervention and control that is possible. Now, it is principle more similar to forestry and animal husbandry than to traditional capture fisheries. In other words, aquaculture is stock raising rather than a hunting. So, aquaculture, we talk about aquaculture, or we can just divide aquaculture into two. One is the capture fisheries. Fisheries, we can divide it into two. One is capture fishery, from where we capture the fishes or animals with economic importance from their wild habitat, and the other one is the culture practices, where we do cultivate the fishes or mollusks which are of economic importance. Next, ma'am, please. Now, the different system of aquaculture and their various categories of aquaculture are: aquaculture is classified in several ways, depending upon different aspects and situation involved in the culture practice. Some basic classification are on the basis of salinity. I've already said that freshwater, brackish water, and marine water. The three kinds of water, like farming of aquatic animal and plants in zero saline water, where the salinity is 0 to 0.5 ppm. This is very important to note. Brackish water is a mixture of seawater and fresh water. For example, the example is estuary with salinity less than, it's written 30 ppt, but its maximum is 15 ppt. Please correct it. Now, estuaries, backwater, creeks, and mangroves waterways are the example of some of the natural brackish water bodies. Now, marine water farming, it includes the animal and plants which are lives and which can be cultivated, or which are harvesting or in the marine water. That is the mariculture, where the salinity is 15 to up to 30 ppt, or it may be up to 40 ppt. It depends. Next, ma'am. Next slide, please. Now, on the basis of intensity of farming, like how much uh, how much stocking we are doing, or what all inputs we are incurring in a system, it is on of three basic types: extensive fish farming, semi-intensive fish farming, and intensive fish farming. Nowadays, super intensive system is also there. So, what are the basic features of the three kinds of farming system? In first, that is the extensive fish farming system, least management form of farming system is required, where the area is of large pond, ranging from 1 to 5 hectare in area, and a stocking density is less than 0.5 pieces per square meter. No supplementary feeding or fertilization, or we can say no pre-stocking or post-stocking management is done, and hence The harvest is also very, very less as compared to the other two. That is the semi-intensive fish farming system and the intensive fish farming system. And the second one is semi-intensive fish farming system. It involves area-wise. It involves the area in between the extensive and intensive farming system, means 0.5 to 1 hectare area, which can be managed to some extent. Stocking density should be 10,000 to 15,000 fish per hectare. Natural food developed by fertilization, because we do give some input to the ponds where we can do manuring. We can, so there could be natural food available. We can just remove aquatic weed to some extent. So here the fish harvest is 25 to 2500 to 10 kgs, as it is more in case of shrimps. So extensive and semi-intensive, basically the differences in the area, fish stocking and harvesting, and the labor cost. Now come to the third one, that is the intensive fish farming system, where it is very well managed system of fish farming. Every, from the beginning, from the scratch, from the construction of pond to the stocking, all the management practices before stocking the fish and post stocking, everything is taken care by. Also the regular monitoring of water, regular monitoring of diseases, etc., everything is just taken care by. And hence, if we compare the expenditure in three kinds of these systems, extensive require a minimum or no cost, semi-intensive moderate to less, and intensive if it requires lot of labor, and hence the lot of cost is incurred in intensive fish farming system. And hence, since we are taking care of each and everything, each and every step, it is under our control and guided, and so the production is also high. Next slide, please, ma'am. Now, on the basis of a species stocked, it is of following type: monoculture, where we only keep single species, monoculture. So only one fish species is reared in a culture system. For example, trout, tilapia, catfish, carps, and shrimp, one at a time. Then polyculture, where two or more different fish species are farmed. Polyculture practices give higher yield than the monoculture, obviously, because the we are keeping the two variety of different food habits. If in a pond, then the food availability in the pond is get by the, it is eaten up by the fishes, and hence they are not harming each other and utilizing the food available in different corners. So it is naturally both kind of fishes are of uh, they are the food fishes and are preferred by the consumer, and hence the species, it is polyculture practice give higher yield and good income to the farmer rather than the monoculture. So the principal requirement of different species of polyculture are they should be having different feeding habits, should occupy different columns in the pond, should attain marketable size at the same time, should be non-predatory in behavior. This we have to keep in mind. Apart, next slide, please, ma'am. I'm sorry. Yeah. So apart from sex culture practices also, where we culture only single sex species, like tilapia I have already mentioned in monoculture. So there are monosex culture where we can culture only single species, single sex, and nowadays only male fish is cultured in monosex system. Then monoculture system where only a single species is cultured. Then there's a polyculture where we introduce uh, more than one species. Then there is a composite fish culture where we can introduce the Indian major carp. We can culture along with the exotic carp, that is the Katla, Rumbu, Mrigal, then grass carp, silver carp, and common carp. These six species can be used for culture in a single pond. Then there's the integrated culture system also, where we can utilize the waste of one into the beneficial effect for the other. Now, on the basis of enclosure we used for culture, there are basically three types. I'm going to discuss more in previous slides. The first is the pond culture. As you can see in the picture, there's a earthen pond is there. This is the best system for farmers, and where you can get the good production of fishes also. And there's a, if we compare with the its cost, incurring cost, so it is reasonable rather than the other. Then the cage is there, which you can see a picture of cage, which I'm going to discuss in detail in my forthcoming slides. Then there's a pen culture. Pen culture is nothing but another enclosure where we can do the fish culture. Next slide, please, ma'am. So, aquaculture technology refers to the wide variety of subjects and fields which affect the performance of fish or shrimp farming projects. This technology does not refer merely to knowing how to grow the fish in the tank. The intention is to design and construct a sustainable and profitable venture which will remain in operation over the years, which is very, very important, because nowadays sustainability is very important. Application of genetic principles to increase production, that is why GMO um, is introduced. Development of techniques to produce monosex population in case of tilapia, because tilapia is called the aquatic chicken, and it attains sexual maturity when it is just 2 months old. So it start breeding. So all the energy which it should incur in its growth goes into its reproduction. So monosex is one of the very much thing which is the fishermen's or the aquaculture prevailing. Then molecular techniques also show significant promise for the aquaculture application. Specific pathogen-free brood stock. These are all prerequisite for the aquaculture, or we can say these are the important points to be noted down for any kind of aquaculture practices before going. Next slide, please, ma'am. Now here we'll discuss the different techniques which are nowadays. Next slide, please, ma'am. The farmers are crazy after biofloc technology. So for farmers, for doubling the farmers' income, it is important to start from the earthen pond, fish culturing, rearing of fishes from the earthen ponds. Gradually, you can shift over to the various latest technologies. So today I'm going to tell you the various technology which are there in the aquaculture system, where you can just rear the fishes, you can culture the fishes in high density, at high stocking density, keeping the water quality clean, and uh, by making use of all the techniques which are available for irrigation, for food, etc. Now, the biofloc technology, the global production of expected to reach 9.6 billion by the year 2050. And as the demand of animal protein is increasing year by year, it is a challenge to provide quality protein by safeguarding its natural resources for future generation. Biofloc technology, or BFT, is considered a new blue revolution, since nutrient can be continuously recycled and reused in the culture medium, benefited by the minimum or zero exchange of water. Now, I'm saying that pond culture is very good. Indeed, it is very good, but it is not possible for everyone to have a land to construct a pond or have a continuous water supply, because in fish farming, in fish culture practices, the first important thing is there should be a continuous source of water 24 into 7 and throughout the year. So, biofloc technology is a promising uh, technology where there's a scarcity of space and shortage of water. So there we can start biofloc technology. Now, biofloc is basically meant in the fourth point. It is written. It is environmental friendly aquaculture technique based on in situ microorganism production, which is floc in the suspended growth in pond tanks, which is aggregated of living and dead particulate organic matter, phytoplanktons, bacteria, and grazer of the bacteria. So by keeping, like we know, if we stock the fishes in high density, they excrete ammonia and they pollute the water. To maintain the water quality, to remove the ammonia, the floc is prepared by bacteria. And this bacteria, it converts the harmful ammonia into single protein, which can be eaten up by the fishes. And hence, it maintains the water quality. But here also, you'll have to keep monitoring the various water parameter like temperature, pH, TDS, ammonia continuously on regular basis. Daily you will have to monitor all these parameters apart from the floc, which converts the ammonia into food, single cell protein. You'll have to give the supplementary feed also. So here also, exchange of water, the zero water exchange, I'm not saying that is a complete, you don't have to add water. You'll have to exchange water here also to maintain the quality. Next slide, please, ma'am. Now, how it works? It in biofloc system, wastewater treatment, which has gained vital importance in an approach to aquaculture. Principle of the technique is to maintain the high carbon nitrogen ratio by adding carbohydrate source, and the water quality is improved through the production of high quality single cell microbial protein. In such condition, heterotrophic microbial growth occur, which assimilates the nitrogenous waste that can be exploited by the cultured species as a feed and also work as a bioreactor controlling of water quality. Immobilization of toxic nitrogen species occur more rapidly in biofloc because of the growth rate and microbial production per unit substrate of heterophils 10 times greater than that of autotrophic nitrifying bacteria. This technology is based on the principle of floccating within a system. Next slide, please, ma'am. So, as you can see, the tanks are prepared and floc is maintained. It requires the constant aeration. So, how the composition and nutritional value of biofloc is? It is a heterogeneous aggregate of suspended particles and variety of microorganisms associated with the extracellular polymeric substances composed of microorganisms such as bacteria, algae, fungi. It is a protein-rich live feed formed as a result of conversion of unused feed and excreta into natural food in a culture system on exposure of sunlight and vigorous aeration. Please note down the aeration is very important in biofloc system. A good nutritional value is found in biofloc. The dry weight protein ranges from 25 to 50%. Fat ranges to 0.5 to 15%. These are the nutritional composition of the floc. So floc has to be maintained. To maintain the floc, the aeration is very important. Next slide, please, ma'am. These are all biofloc tanks, and the construction of biofloc tank is like you'll have to there's one outlet at the center, which is not very much clear. It was not clear in the picture. So you only have to understand the biofloc in a way that rearing fishes in high density, keeping the water quality in control means there should be high oxygen and food. When you are stocking fishes in high density, the ammonia will deteriorate the water quality. So here we are using the bacteria which convert this ammonia into single protein, which can be utilized as food by the fishes. So what are the different advantages of biofloc technology? It is eco-friendly culture system. It reduces environmental impact, judicious use of land and water, as I have just suggested, that these techniques are basically good or suitable for the area where there's a shortage of land, good soil, and scarcity of water, where you don't have to um, uh, exchange the water daily or on regular basis. Limited or zero water exchange system. Here, I would like to say there's a limited, not zero water, because you'll have to change the water. High productivity, high biosecurity, it reduces pollution and mitigate the risk of introduction and spread of pathogens. Since because aeration is very important and we are converting these bacteria. Bacteria are involved in the conversion process. Next slide, please, ma'am. Next is the cage culture system. Cage, as the name implies, it is an enclosure covered from all the sides, that is from top, bottom, and all the sides. So cages are a system where you cannot culture the fishes. You can only rear. You can just stock the fish seeds of appropriate size, and you can just rear them in natural water bodies. So cages is enclosed space to rear organism in which to maintain free exchange of water and give them a natural habitat. Enclosure of aquaculture in the context of inland fisheries in India refers to both cage and pen culture. So what you all can see in pictures, they are the circular cages. The size of cage may vary. They may be circular, they may be rectangular, they may be square, depending upon the kind of like the availability of material or kind of practice or the area where the cage has to be installed. Next slide, please, ma'am. So the objective behind using the cages to increase per capita fish protein availability, because in cages, as you can see, you must have seen in the picture, it is the cage enclosure, it is enclosure of nets. It is suspended, it is thrown, or it is left in a water, which is a natural habitat. Here we are not using any earthen ponds or the captive water. It can be laid down in the backwater of the sea, or in the open sea, or in the sides of river where there's a less anthropogenic activity or less water current is there. So cage can be installed in reservoir, ocean, backwaters, and where fish gets the natural food available. It gives good oxygen. In cages, we can just rear the fishes of different variety. Nowadays, the fungaceous is widely used to rear in cages because it's we are getting good money out of it. So, to increase per capita fish protein availability, to enhance income and livelihood security of farmers, to augment production of fish from lakes and reservoirs, to ensure growth of aquaculture. So, for these purposes, keeping these objectives in mind, the cage has been installed. Next slide, please, ma'am. Now, these are the some of the prerequisites of where you can install the cage. Due to ecological reasons, cage culture in river is discouraged world over. But where there is a continuous good depth is there in river, where there's a less anthropogenic activity and the river water is not going down, the level of water is not going down in throughout the season, that river water we can use. Otherwise, we should avoid using the rivers to install cages. The riverine ecosystem are already under severe stress result. Why we are not, we are discouraged to install, if not having the proper condition for installation of cages, because they are under stress, loss, habitat losses, their degradation due to quite a large number of the reasons, because of construction of dam, obstruction, low flow, river turning, the pollution, domestic and agriculture runoff, etc. So it is recommended to install cage where there is a depth of water is good, large deep reservoir, like they have quite a lot, 35, 40 in depth. Lakes need to be chosen for cage culture, leaving aside small and shallow water bodies for following reasons. For example, small and shallow water bodies are very productive and usually suited for free ranching as there's no constraint to harvesting fishes. Predators are not a very big problem. Such water bodies are suitable for practicing culture-based capture fisheries managed on the basis of annual stocking and harvesting. Next slide, please, ma'am. The small and shallow water are generally rich in nutrient and sunlight penetration down to the bottom, resulting in high rate of primary production. Cage culture involves high input of nutrient in the form of feed. This, coupled with the high rate of deposition of fish excretory matter, result in high rate of nutrient input to system, cause eutrophication. This will lead to the disruption of natural ecosystem processes and causing irreparable damage to the system. Smaller reservoirs do not have sufficient depth for the cage to maintain a flow during the lean season. If water level recedes and goes beneath the critical level, the crop will destroy. Hence, the shallow water bodies should be avoided. Therefore, the cage culture shall be allowed in water bodies having surface area more than 1,000 hectare. Cage culture shall be allowed in reservoirs with average depth of 10 meter. Average depth is calculated as area in hatcheries divided by water holding capacity in cubic meter, which is very, very important before installation of cages in any kind of water body. The seasonal variation in water level should be keep in records. The cage site of reservoir should have at least 10-meter depth around the year. Means after installation of a cage, the minimum 6 to 10 feet of water should be there. The depth should be there. Next slide, please, ma'am. Now, the types of cage, as I've already told in my previous slide, that there are three types of cage are there: fixed cage, fixed in running water, where the bamboos are used and a mesh net. One hapa is used as a and it is fixed in the water body. It is tied to the bamboos. The bamboos are just fixed in the water body. Then floating cage, fixed in lake and reservoir where they float. Then submersible cage or movable cage. Nowadays, more of a floating cage are in practice. Next slide, please, ma'am. These are the different kinds of cages. Just next slide, ma'am. The previous one, please. Yeah, this is the floating cage. Now, how to construct the cage? What are the requirement for the cage fabrication? As you can see, the drums are there. The poles are there, which are made of steel or iron. And the nets are there. The three kinds of nets are used. One is the rearing net, one is the protection net, and the above one is the bird protection net. And these drums are used, which are the empty drums. And the floating cages, as the water level goes high during the monsoon season, the cages also come to the surface, leaving the cage, the meshes, the cage inside the water body. The submersible, as you can see, it is completely underwater. Whereas in floating cage, the drums are just on the surface of water, but the drums are on the surface of water, but the whole cage is the mesh nets. They are hanging in the under the water. Next slide, please, ma'am. So this is one of the square shaped cage. The material used can be discussed. The shape, as I have told you, round, square, or rectangular, it requires various material as discussed. Next slide, please, ma'am. This is round cage, rectangle cage. Next slide, please, ma'am. Those who are like CMFRI, they have installed cage in Vishakhapatnam. Not many cage culture practices are going in India. In reservoir also in Madhya Pradesh, in Chhattisgarh, in Orissa, everywhere the cage rearing of fishes and cages are of, it is giving good profit to the farmers. So the PVC pipes are used, as you can see, used in cage frames. HDP is used. So this is how the one thing is to point to be noted. The mesh which we are going to use should have knotless nylon nets are recommended for cage fabrication to avoid any kind of clinkage and attachment of any aquatic weed. Next, ma'am. Now the site selection for cage. Criteria for site selection are used on safety and location and smooth culture operation to avoid or minimize use of conflicts. The ideal location for setting the cages in large and medium reservoirs are the protected bays or to avoid damage due to strong wind and radiation. So the site should be where there's a not much of wave current, wave action or current, or which is not the very much visiting site of the, because where there's a water body, the visitors, the anthropogenic activities start more. So we should avoid those kinds of area where there's a lot many intruders are coming, or the site is very much close to some viewpoint or things like that. Some mild turbulence always help exchange of metabolites and nutrient between the cage and the outside environment. The reservoir should have at least 10-meter on mean depth, and cage site needs a water depth of at least 10-meter around the ear. Clearance of 6 meter will always be needed from the cage bottom to the floor of the water body, which is very, very important because it requires the hanging movement and free flow of water, oxygen, and nutrient. Excessive nutrient load from cage culture input, especially feed, can create eutrophic condition with disastrous consequence to the ecosystem. So as the cages are installed in the natural water body, so the fishes, the fishes to be reared, they are as it is, they are getting natural feed. So we should also give the supplementary feed, but it should, we'll have to check it whether they are consuming it or not, or it should not cause any harm to the cage system, like the fishes which are under rearing. Next, please, ma'am. So cage maintenance is also of prime importance. It should be cleaned at every 15 days interval to avoid net clogging. Anti-corrosive paint should be applied to GI cages and prevent rusting and increase the durability. After shifting the stock, each cage is taken out and sun-dried and cleaned by scrubbing. In situ cleaning using water jets is not advised as it will dislodge the pathogenic organism, throwing them into cage to infect the fishes. So cage fabrication and cage maintenance is very, very important to note the various points discussed. Next slide, please, ma'am. Now, these are the various species which can be cultured. Like any species can be cultured. It depends on the nearest market, the consumer's preference. But nowadays, Fungaceous is highly in demand for cage rearing. Next slide, please, ma'am. Now, what different advantages of cage? Fish can be stocked at high density, more volume of water is available to fishes, no need for own land. Daily observation is easy, as you can go, you can walk, and you can just observe the fishes by using hand nets. Predator are easily controlled because we have kept that we using two nets hanging in the cage. So one is the protection and one is the rearing net. So we can just, predation is controlled. High mortality, fish mortality is less. Harvesting is easy, but maintenance should be there. Initial investment is less. Next slide, please. Now, the various disadvantages associated: cage farms disrupt navigation, because when cages are installed, there's a problem for navigation. Cage increases sedimentation in the area. It alter water flows. High quality balanced food is needed. The release of uneaten affect the fish. Water quality. So the supplementary feed should be given as required by the fishes. Next slide, please. So this is about the cage. Next is the pen culture. Pen is nothing but it is again an enclosure which is open from the bottom. It is also installed in open areas where there's not much water current, and we require bamboo and mesh net to construct a pen. It is defined as a raising of fish in a volume of water enclosed all sides except from bottom, permitting the free circulation of water and least from the side. This system can be considered a hybrid between pond culture and cage culture. So these systems are also very much in use in large water bodies, where only you'll have to enclose one area using bamboos and mesh nets, and you can just rear the desired or the fishes. Here also the predation is checked. Next slide, please. Now, the various material used for pen construction: bamboo poles, 10 to 15 centimeter diameter for a good support. 10 centimeter diameter is split into two halves. Bamboo screen made of split bamboos and nylon net material for lining the screen. Coir ropes for tying and all. Next slide, please, ma'am. This is how you can just see. It is nothing but you'll have to just use the poles and net to make one enclosure, and where you can the site should be where you can easily come and go for observation. You can if required, you can give the feed, supplementary feed also. And pen and cage culture are good rearing practices, because here the fishes are in their natural environment and they are getting good oxygen and good live food. But we can also give supplementary if we are stocking them in high density. So here in pen culture, design and construction is easy and very simple. Uh, Ideal size of a pen should be in areas of wetlands with 1.5 to 2.5 meter water depth. Shape would be very in variable shapes: polygonal, rectangular, square, or circular, depending upon the kind of terrain you get in the water body. Rectangular shaped pens are widely used in India. It is defined as raising of fish in a volume of water enclosed from all the sides except the bottom. Next slide, please. This is how the construction of pen is. Next slide, please. This is the round pen. It can be double layer, where we can use the two nylon mesh enclosure of 1 centimeter mesh size. Next, ma'am. Again, rigid pens, the different types: embarked pens, net enclosure; flexible pens, that by netting; outer barrier net, embankment pens, etc. Next slide, please, ma'am. Next slide, ma'am. These are just the types of different pens. As you can see, it's shown the water area and the rearing parts where we can just doing it. Next slide, please, ma'am. The various species which can be used: milkfish, Chinese carp, Indian carp, millets, tilapia, different species, punctius, common carp, eels, catfish, etc. Next slide, brackish water. Next slide, please. About the technology, this is the simple and inexpensive technology. It is installed in shallow areas of water body. It is shape maybe square or rectangular. Desirable area of pen is 0.5 to 0.2 hectare. Height of pen wall depends on height of the water column. Next slide, please, ma'am. So these all we have discussed. The shallow area should be chosen, floodplains, wetlands, lakes, reservoir, and water should be available at least 4 to 8 months. Water depth should be 1.5 to 2.5. Bottom of water should be plain and preferably sandy, loamy in texture to for the life feed purpose. Next slide, please, ma'am. Now the various advantages and disadvantages associated with the pen. Stocking density can be increased compared to that of pond culture system. These are the advantages over the pond system. Within enclosure, the predator can be excluded. In the large pens, the harvest may not be easy as in case of cage, but more control and easier than in natural water. Now, the disadvantages are high demand of oxygen and water flow. Why? Because here, if we are selecting the shallow water body, then water oxygen DO should be high everywhere. So it should not be a limiting a factor. Dependence on artificial feed is also there. A part of feed is likely to be lost, uneaten, and drifted away from the current, but the loss here would be lesser in floating cages. Next slide, please, ma'am. So a pen is again a very good, or we can say profitable system where we can, where the farmers can get a good yield. Now the next one is RAS, that is recirculatory aquaculture system. So as you can see, next slide, please, ma'am. This is the setup for RAS, recirculatory aquaculture system. Now we have seen the first, the biofloc, where there is a limited exchange of water, but still we'll have to exchange the water. In cage, we are putting the rearing the fishes in cage and pen in the natural water body and therein. This is recirculatory aquaculture system where we use the water, circulating water. We are reusing the water, but after we can stock the fishes in high density, but we can reuse that water, keeping the water quality in permissible values, and we can stock in high density. We can give them food, supplementary feed also we can give in these tanks, but water quality should be maintained and it is recycled. Now how we do it? Here we use the different screens, filters we use here. Next slide. First see this, the setup, then we'll discuss further. These are all tanks. As you can see, they are all connected. And we are using same water in a flow manner in circulation after treating them, after filtering them, after removing all the harmful parameter, all the we are just cleaning everything and we are reusing the water. So the aquaculture system open, semi-closed, and closed type. So we have discussed all these, the open and semi-closed type. Now it is in closed type of system. Just see the third one. Water is reused, little or no effluent. Sophisticated water filtration and treatment. So here we are using in RAS, we are filtering the water and we are reusing the water. So recirculating aquaculture system and raceway tanks are such made to reuse the water. Next slide, please, sir. Now, what is the principles of RAS? It involves fish tank, filtration and water treatment system. The fishes are housed in tank and the water is exchanged continuously, which guarantees optimum growing condition. Water is pumped into the tank through biological and mechanical filtration system and then return into the tank. As I was just telling you that we are filtering the water, we are cleaning the water by using the filter. So different kinds of filter, like mechanical filter, ozone filter, biological filters, all kinds of filter we are using here to treat the quality, to improve the quality of water, and we are using the same water. There is no complete water exchange. Rather than 5 to 10% water exchange uh, per day is being done, depending on the stocking and feeding rate. Next, please. RAS is a technology where water is recycled and reused after mechanical and biological filtration and removal of suspended matter and metabolites. Intensive, high density fish culture. So, as we have discussed earlier in my previous introductory slide, that there are different kinds of culture system: extensive, semi intensive, and intensive. So, we are discussing these techniques are all intensive. It requires a lot of input cost is also high here, and control and monitor, continuous monitoring is done, and hence will get good yield and good production. Utilize minimum land area and water. Fishes are reared in indoor, outdoor tanks in a controlled environment. Recirculating system filter and clean the water by recycling it back to fish culture tanks. New water is added to tank only to make up the splash out, evaporation, and that used to, because we'll have to maintain certain kind of water level. So only that much is only uh, just added. Next slide, please, ma'am. This is how it is. The system is.
Madam, sorry to interrupt. We have
Yeah.
completed 50 minutes. If you can quickly finish, I'll take
Yeah,
up
yeah,
from
yeah,
few
yeah, yeah,
questions.
yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Just one more system is there. So this is RAS. We can just, you can just go on. You can just skip the slide. So this is the construction of RAS. Yes, ma'am. Next slide. You can just next slide, please. This is how it works. These are the different filters which is shown. Fish tank, from where the water goes to the mechanical filter, then biological filter, then ozone filter, then here the oxygenation is done, and again it's re-entering in the fish rearing tank. Next slide, please, ma'am. You can skip the slide. You can just come to the next system. No, just skip the slides. Come to raceway. Come to raceway. Raceway culture. This is again another system. Here we are not using actually the filters and all. The raceways are where you can see the cemented tanks are here, where you can just rear the fishes. Next, madam, IMTA. Come to the last one. Aquaponic system is also there, where integrated fish and plant production technology can be take up. The underlying principle is to efficiently utilize water and produce two crops rather than one, and to partition and share nutrient resource between fish and plants. So we can say it is a hydroponics or aquaponics, that is a soilless cultivation, where you can just rear fishes in a tank, and that water we can use to grow the plants. That is the hello. Hello.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. Please proceed.
You want me to conclude, madam? This
Yes.
one, I just
No,
show the
I
picture.
was changing it because you didn't tell anything.
Well,
It
come to
came to
slide.
thank you. That's why
No, just go to slide number 68. I'll just
I will do it. I will do it. Just wait.
Yeah.
Slide number
68.
68.
I will speed up. Don't worry.
Yeah.
In 10 minutes, I'll finish. Means inclusive everything.
Yeah,
this is the aquaponic system. As you can see, down in there, the cages, there's a fish are reared in the tanks, and that same water is used because it requires nitrogen. So the plants can be cultivated also. So soilless culture, that is the aquaponics. Next. Next slide. Yeah, this is very important. This is a new integrated multi-trophic aquaculture system where you can just skip also, ma'am. The slides. I just go to the principle of this. Yeah. So integrated multi-trophic aquaculture system, it is based on the principle of extraction and conversion through diversification. It promotes economic and environmental sustainability by converting byproduct and uneaten feed from a fed organism into harvestable crop, reducing root eutrophication, which is a resultant of high organic load, and increased economic diversification. Next slide, please, ma'am. So it is nowadays very much in practice where the fish production, the like many organisms can be cultured together, and the waste of one can be used in the feed of other. Or next slide, please, ma'am. As you can see, like everything, fish production is there. Marine proteins and oils, biofuels, algae, echinoderms, bivalves. Not many things are there. Next, ma'am. So advantages of integrated multi-trophic aquaculture system: effluent biomitigation, mitigation of effluents through the use of biofilters, which are used to the ecological niches to the aquaculture side, increased profit through diversification, and improving local economy. Next slide, please, ma'am. It forms of natural crop insurance. Product diversification may offer financial protection and decrease economic risk. Disease control, prevention of disease among farm fishes can be provided by certain seaweeds due to their antibacterial activity against fish pathogenic bacteria, increased profit through obtaining premium prices. Next, please. So these various are the disadvantage of IMTA. It requires good quality management, balanced input and nutrient flow, food safety concerns, very important, should not have any coliform bacteria and parasites, lower productivity than feed monoculture, species limitation, public participation, perception issues. Next, please. There's one more thing is there that if we can just use the sewage water, like though it is not a very recent practices, but if we use the sewage water after treatment, it can also be used for fish culture. And we can, to some extent, there are various species available where we can use the sewage water for fish culture practices. As you know, the composition of sewage, 99% it contains water, organic 70%. Next slide, please, ma'am. Solid 1%, inorganic 30%. But our main aim is to use the 99% of water which goes into the drain. So here also, next slide, ma'am. Yes, this is a composition of sewage. So sewage water can be used for fish culture practices after its proper treatment. And various species are there which can which grow well in sewage water. I don't want to go in this much detail of characteristics of sewage, because sewage is it has high load of ammonia, carbon dioxide, low dissolved oxygen, and a high alkalinity. So after treatment, we should bring it to sewage water in proper values, and we can use this sewage water. Next slide, please, ma'am. Next slide. Next slide. Yeah, this is how the various treatment method, that sedimentation, dilution, and storage. Next, please. Screening is the first, where we do go for screening, skimming, then sedimentation, dilution, and then we can use the water. Next slide, ma'am. These are the various steps shown where we can just construct a pond near the sewage effluent is coming from. sewage pond are pumped out. This is how it is made. And after complete treatment, we can use the water. Next slide, please, ma'am.
That's all.
So there are the various advantages and disadvantages associated with the sewage water. Now, before, ma'am, yeah, but I would like to add on here that these are the various techniques. Copy bhi chahiye iske. These are the various techniques which are used, latest techniques which are used. But apart from these techniques, there are a lot many filters, aerators, and techniques are also developed as per the need, the where the indigenous knowledge plays a very important role to improvise the obsolete techniques into a new technique to use in aquaculture to increase the fish production to meet the protein requirement or to combat the malnutrition of our country. Thank you so very much, ma'am. I'm very sorry. These few slides are very important, which I'll have to take in detail, but because of time constraint, yeah, I can. You can ask
Okay,
questions, please.
thank you very much, ma'am, for a wonderful and a detailed presentation. I will take up the questions from the participants now. Madam, to start with, can you please tell us about yourself, your education and career background? What made you take an interest in this particular field?
Like basically, I am from a zoology background, madam. I did my PG late um, uh, from zoology. That time the fisheries was not offered in any of the university. So my interest was where I live. There's a Narmada river, and because of the pollution, I did my PhD on that water. The confluence point, like sewage, I have done my complete thesis on Narmada river, the various species, the water quality, how it is affecting it. And so I have taken up this, ma'am.
Okay, I'll move on to the next question now. How can aquaculture practice be optimized to minimize environmental impacts and promote ecological sustainability?
Yeah, this is very important question, madam, because see, nowadays the organic cultivation anywhere, either you do it on field or in water, organic culture is of prime importance, and sustainability is to be looked. So uh, one should go for organic culture instead of using the chemicals, the medicines, etc. One should go for organic culture where we can just um, uh, we will not harm the environment. And to maintain the sustainability, we should go for we should follow the different policies laid by the government of India and different policies laid by the state governments. So sustainability has to be maintained, and I would also recommend the organic culture.
Okay, I'll move on to the next question then. Could you elaborate on any novel approaches being adopted to enhance the efficiency and effectiveness of fish feed formulations?
Yeah, for fish feed formulation, there's a formula which we use, Pearson square method, which we basically use to go for the, basically we do it for protein percentage, Pearson square method. And because different species, different stages of fish, they require a different kind of protein requirement. Like initial stages, it require high protein, and gradually it has to be controlled. Like for brooders should have a different kind of composition of feed. So yes, Pearson square method is there, and it is available, the literature on Pearson square method, how to balance it, what all is to be given. Moreover, there are a lot many local ingredients are there from which we can just formulate the feed. And live feed is very, very important nowadays, because we have seen that in cage culture, in pen culture, wherever we are doing it, we are culturing them, we are rearing the fishes there, because they are getting the food which is available to them in the natural environment. So it is basically the planktons on which the fish love to eat. So live feed we can culture in laboratory. Also, if we want, we can culture the live feed, and for formulation, different formulation, we can use the feed formulation. There are various companies are there which are just they are preparing the formula feed, though they don't disclose the formulation, but they are providing the floating in different kinds of feed in different sizes also for different fish stages.
Okay. What are some of the key considerations when implementing recirculating aquaculture systems, and how do they compare to traditional open system?
Nah, it is a very, it is, there's a lot of difference between the two. In traditional open system, that is the pond system, it is the water is a stagnant. Here, the water is in circulation, and oxygen is high. We are maintaining the water quality in RAS. So RS, the establishment and carrying cost is high. Once investment is high, initial cost, then you can get the um, profit from the next year. So there's a lot of difference between the two systems.
Okay. Are there any ongoing research initiatives or projects aimed at improving the welfare and behavior of farmed fish in aquaculture settings?
Sorry, I'm not getting your question.
Uh,
Is there any?
Are there any ongoing research initiatives or projects aimed at improving the welfare and behavior of farmed fish in aquaculture settings?
Yeah, why not? CIFA, Central Institute of Freshwater Aquaculture, which is in Bhubaneswar, they are doing lot many research on different species. Yeah.
Okay. How are technological advancements such as automation and data analytics being leveraged to optimize
Yeah,
production processes and decision making in aquaculture?
yeah, everything is now being in intensive kind of aquaculture system. Everything is monitored. The kind of, there are feeders are there where we can just, feed plates are there, automatic feeding system are there for shrimp hatcheries, which is very much common in Maharashtra and Orissa, where they have a large big Vietnamese shrimp farm. So everything is automated, like the kind of type, how much feed is to be given as per the stocking density. Everything is, automation is there in India also, up to dispersion of feed and things like that. Yeah.
Okay. Can you provide examples of successful integration between aquaculture and other sectors such as agriculture or renewable energy to create sustainable and resource efficient systems?
Yeah, why not? Integrated aquaculture system is one of the highly promoted nowadays, and NFDB is working on it for integrated farming system, because where the agriculture, like agriculture and in rice field, the fishes they are grown, and in one of the system over here in Madhya Pradesh also, they are keeping with the livestock also, the fishes, the poultry farm, and the fishes, and the dairy is there, where the dairy cow dung is used to fertilize the it can be used. So yes, there are lot many uh, farmers. They have adopted, not all together, like not with poultry, like with one unit. Like in rice field, they are having fishes. They are cultivating fishes in Kerala also in salt, and they are doing both integrated in an integrated way.
Okay. What measures are being taken to address challenges such as water quality management and waste disposal in aquaculture systems?
See, water quality management plays a very important role for the good production and good health, healthy and good fish quality. So, water quality management point should be noticed to be the oxygen level should be high. If oxygen is good, then CO2 would be less. and ammonia would be less. And if aeration is good, then disease and things like that, the pathogenic, they will also not very much. So water quality plays a very important role. So best management practice, the water quality should be maintained in aquaculture system. So the various system which are apart from the pond water system, the various system which are there, like first I have discussed the biofloc where the water quality is maintained, but in high density we can stop. We are converting the harmful ammonia into single cell protein as a feed. In RAS, we are just cleaning the water, we are filtering the water so that it can be used, because water quality plays a very important role in fish health and fish growth.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. We have now completed the round of questions on behalf of agricultureinformation.com. We like to thank Dr. Sona Dubey for the talk and for answering the questions. I like to also thank all the participants in the meeting. This meeting will now be closed.
Thank you so very much. Thank you
welcome,
for
ma'am.
patient listening. I'm very sorry that I should concise my topic,
It
and
was
I should
very-
have given more emphasis on the slides which I have started. Initially,
okay,
I have
ma'am.
taken much time,
That's okay, ma'am.
and
But it was a
and
very
I hope
informative and very good talk,
I
ma'am.
hope I have done justice and given answer as
Definitely,
per
ma'am.
your requirement. I'm not sure. Okay. Thank you
Definitely,
so
ma'am.
very much, ma'am.
Thank you
You
very
all
much,
have
ma'am.
a bye.
Bye.